All right. Should be live. Hello, hello, hello. Perfect. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, and then we will go ahead and begin. Let's go send in the chat real quick just to make sure everyone is on the same page here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Yeah, so quite a lot I want to talk about in the current state for Bitcoin, and pretty much just go over our trades that we've done and kind of what to expect for the next few days in terms of trades, just so everyone is on the same page. But of course, if you guys can hear me, just let me know, and then we are good to go. Perfect. All right, so nice, Adam. Awesome. So I wanted to quickly talk about the current Bitcoin setup that we had and pretty much what exactly I was expecting. Now, just from an education standpoint and just going back here from previous price analysis. Now, looking at the 110.7 region, you can see that we already tested that level multiple times, right? We had one test, two tests, three tests, and we continue to have this massive chop opportunity. Now, from a larger time frame standpoint, when you have such a large consolidation zone, you want to be very careful with trading bias. And what I mean by that is you don't necessarily want to be a perma bull or a perma bear. And the reason for that is you don't know which direction the trade's going to go. And what I mean by that is you can see the traders here that were short had their victory laps here. And of course, for those of you that were long, had your victory laps here, right? So it goes both ways on both fronts, but you have to be very, very careful here in terms of all-time high and trading bias, because if, of course, the market continues to chop both ways, if whatever direction the trade does end up breaking out, it is going to be absolutely massive. And you can see that on Bitcoin, when we broke above the 110.7 region, we saw a very large squeeze into all-time high. And a lot of folks, for some reason, at 112 started to look for the shorting opportunities. To me, it does not make sense. And the reason why I kept telling you guys do not short into all-time high is because you don't want to be that person that ends up getting liquidated before a massive generational run. And that's pretty much what happened today. A lot of shorts got trapped within this region, and I mentioned it to the whale chat as well. And I said, look, like, to me, some people were mentioning a little bearish situation. And I said, look, it does not make sense to me, at least, for all of these shorts right now to see a win. Think about it. If we just hit all-time high, why would all of a sudden Bitcoin just start nuking from there when we already tested the same region so many times? If this was the first test, then I'd be like, okay, I understand. But no, this is now the fourth test. Why would the market reverse on your front again, right? And that's why a lot of people struggle with this sort of situation. As you can see, as soon as Bitcoin broke the wick, the all-time high wick at 112.30, we saw a massive squeeze heading into almost 114K. Today was a massive, massive day for everyone in this channel in general, and for those of you that were long. And of course, if you were short, rest in peace. I have no excuse to say anything to you, but for those of you that were long, it was a massive day for us in general. But now the question remains is, what can we expect for Bitcoin? And again, with all-time high situations, I'm not going to be that YouTuber that says, okay, guys, we're going to 500K, right? All I'm just going to explain is, to me, when you're trading with all-time high, the best way to trade it, and again, the best and easiest way to trade it, it becomes a little bit risky, but again, it gives you a kind of a perspective here, is this. Every time you see that wick at 113.8, so let's say we get the 4-hour close. So this current 4-hour candle closed, the high was 113.8. When you're trading all-time high, you don't know exactly where things are going to reverse or things are going to bounce, because there's, again, no chart to go off of. The best thing you can do is simply wait for the break of wick high. So in this sort of situation, if I'm trading all-time high, which again, I'm not as of right now, but if I were to be trading all-time high, I would simply look at it like, okay, hey, if 113.8 breaks, I'm going to enter along. You don't know when it's going to reverse because there's nothing to go off of it. So that's pretty much where you set your trailings or you take your profits on the way upwards. But this way, you're not guessing. And that's the biggest thing. This way, you're not guessing of where things are heading. You simply just keep looking for long positions every single time the candle closes until the market tells you otherwise. And again, you can see at the 112 region, if of course you were to use this analysis, you can see that we hit the 112.30, right? We got close to 11.9 again, but we didn't break it. So if you were looking for another long here, you wouldn't have lost money because, again, the wick high didn't end up breaking. The wick high broke today, right? And look at the massive squeeze we had. Now, again, same sort of situation, 113.870. Do I know as a trader, is this going to see another squeeze? No, right? But it can give me an educational standpoint that, okay, we might see a smaller breakout or at least something in terms of wick highs for those folks that shorted right here. That's pretty much how it works. Every time you see someone, you see that movement in general, you have to be very, very careful. And the reason why I trade like this is because if you look at the previous bull run, and I'll explain this again. If you look at the previous bull run when Bitcoin actually went on its massive run-up opportunity, you can see that when we originally broke the 19K region, Bitcoin never came back down to that same level. And what I'm talking about is right around this level structure right here. Sorry, I lied. This is still 2020. Give me 1 second here, guys. Here we go. Okay. So this was the original run-up. So look, in this perspective from an all-time high, you can see Bitcoin broke all-time high. We had a massive squeeze opportunity, right? And I still had the line drawn here. We broke above, and again, look at the wicks and how they played out near all-time high. It's super important. You can see the original wick, second wick, next wick, wick after that, wick after that, wick after that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you were shorting at any point above these wick high breaks every single time on the 4-hour interval, you got liquidated, right? And again, you can see that we didn't know where Bitcoin was going back then. We hit from 19 all the way up into 24, which again, may not seem like a lot now, but back then it was a lot of money, right? A lot, because that's a big move for Bitcoin. Now we swing $5,000-$6,000 every few hours. We're like, whatever, but that's pretty much why I keep telling you guys, when you're looking for positions on Bitcoin at all-time high, that's how you can trade. Don't ask me, don't message me and be like, oh, Pingu, when what level are we going to when it's sitting at 113.8? I don't know. And again, if anyone tells you, they're wrong, right? Because there's no chart to go off of here. There is absolutely no chart here. So that's pretty much how I would look at these things. Now, speaking about altcoins in general, Ethereum and pretty much Doge and Solana, everything is going to move together. What do I mean by that? Is you can see that Ethereum right now is heading into its V-shaped formation. Me personally, looking at this chart, I don't think we would just see a rejection here, right? In my opinion, I think if there's going to be a rejection, the double top opportunity should play out around 28.66 to 28.79. And the reason I've talked about this so many damn times before is look at the daily structure on Ethereum. This will give you guys a better understanding of why I'm not bearish on Ethereum, and I think that we're just about to see a massive run up overall. Look at these wicks, guys. Look at the wicks in terms of Ethereum's price zone. With 28.40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and now this is the 12th time we're heading into the highs, right? When you have 12 test opportunities, and again, I told you this, the more times that ceiling is tested, the weaker it gets. And that's what we're seeing right now is Ethereum continues to move back into this zone, right into 28.40. What happens when you have a ton of liquidity, a ton of traders trapped within this range? More than likely, you end up seeing a squeeze. Where do we think the squeeze is going? Well, just looking at this chart from a daily perspective, the wick high is at $3,300. Do I think Ethereum is about to rally to $3,300 within the next few days? Yes, I do. And the reason for that is if we can end up breaking above 28.79, there is no more resistance. And you can see this playing out right here. Same thing, guys. 27.40. Look at this. 1, 2. I had the circle still drawn for previous price analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when we broke, look at that daily candle, 27.40 into 2900, all the way up into 3400 within the next 3 days, then all the way up into the 4000 region. Ethereum is ready for its massive leg opportunity. And now this is where things get very interesting. I've talked about this before too, and looking at Ethereum, when you are heading into momentum, so something like this, where you see the chart just from a larger time frame continue to test its major resistance point, how many times? Do you understand how crazy of a rally Ethereum is going to end up going to if we end up seeing that breakout? We are looking for a massive generational play here for Ethereum, right? And the reason why is because look at the resistance at the $4,000 region. Look at how much resistance there was at 4,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 peaks since the last all-time high. what's going to happen to Ethereum if it breaks that peak is going to be massive, just like on Bitcoin. And I know a lot of people talk and say, oh, Ethereum's garbage, man. It doesn't do anything, man. Well, that's exactly why it's a buying opportunity, and it remains to be a buying opportunity in general, is because of the fact that it's lagging behind so hard. Guys, the amount of times I've heard people say XRP is going to flip Ethereum, Solana is going to flip Ethereum, blah, 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 blah. Realistically, this is my third cycle. None of that shit has ever happened. People always start doubting Ethereum, and then it wakes up. And a perfect example of that was when I went to Dubai, and at $1,800, I said, guys, I think Ethereum's going to see a rally for blank reasoning. And people messaged me and said, Pingu, I think you're wrong. Ethereum's dead. It's not doing anything. And it was this candle, 1,800 in one day to 2,200, and then all the way to peak of 2,700. And guess what? People were like, oh my God, I should have bought. Why didn't I buy? Oh my God. And it's the same thing. The people that say that realistically are just not going to make it in this market, is because when the market gives you such a nice opportunity of consolidation for so many weeks, so many months, there is absolutely no excuse for you at that point from a spot perspective to be like, oh, I didn't buy enough. There is absolutely no reason to. You had months to buy. You can buy whenever you want and at that consolidation. And again, when the price starts to pump, you'll notice all these little rats come out of their corner and be like, should I buy now, man? And that's the issue, right? But again, looking at Ethereum from just that longer term perspective, that's what I'm expecting, at least from now, because we have to understand that before the argument was, oh, well, Bitcoin's kind of testing all-time high. We don't really know what Ethereum's going to do. No, if Bitcoin is at all-time high, 114K almost, and Ethereum is at 2,800, it makes no sense, right? And that's why I tell you guys, it doesn't need to make sense. The market is giving you a massive opportunity here, and the opportunity is, again, if we end up breaking these little resistance zones right here in the wick highs of 2869 or 2866, sorry, then that's going to be the squeeze you want to play. And this is where momentum trading comes in. If I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I know just from this chart, just from this 4-hour chart right now, the top of the move set is 2879. It doesn't look like a bad long position, right? And that's why I tell you guys, that's exactly how I think. And when I send you these trades in Telegram, that's my thought process. And I'm like, okay, if I send the trade at 27.28, worst case scenario, they're going to get to 28.66. Best case scenario, they're going to break and they're all going to make a ton of money. And that's when I send it. I'm like, okay, I see an opportunity here. And that's why I keep telling you guys, just pay attention to Ethereum. Do not fade Ethereum in terms of the current price action. Yes, it's boring, but look at the chart, guys. This is a massive opportunity. And again, top of move set always plays. So 3,400 would be the level if, of course, we end up breaking 28.79. There should be no excuses of, oh, I didn't catch Ethereum, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I'm telling you in this live stream, I will tell you again. Now, quickly, real quick, look at Doge. And this is what I meant by, I think everything breaks together, right? And I just wanted to really talk about this and kind of drill it down in everyone's head. Guys, I give a wick break on Doge at 18.66, okay? It hits all the way up to 18.743. And then it rejects and comes down a little. That does not mean you start panicking, okay? The amount of times people panic and be like, oh yeah, I think we went down, it went down. I'm not the market maker. I don't know what's going on either, right? All I know is a wick breaks, we enter the trade, we ride it towards the top. Volatility during all-time high is normal for altcoins, and really understand that. What I mean by that is if Bitcoin ends up breaking 112, 113, 114, and altcoins are lagging, and all of a sudden Bitcoin starts to drop and your altcoin starts dropping too, that's the reality of the situation. So when I say, hey guys, Doge is looking for a nice long position, that's dependent on Bitcoin as well. If Bitcoin you see continues to rally, all the altcoins move together. Ethereum, Doge, Solana, they will all move together in terms of trades. Speaking of Solana, look what happened to Solana. We entered a trade at 159.60. We hit the peak of 161.13. Now we're back at 160.50. Am I really going to sit here and be like, oh, Jimmy, oh my God, Jimmy, you didn't take your 30-cent profit from here? Oh no, what can I do for you? I'm not going to be that person. My job is to make sure you guys get the proper entry in terms of risk. Your job is to execute and lock in those gains. Do not be that person that gets greedy for a few pennies, just hoping for the fact that it hits that white line magically and then rejects. We have seen it many times and times and times before that it doesn't always hit the line perfectly. Sometimes it gets close, and it's all dependent on Bitcoin. And again, sometimes best case scenario, it blows the line, it destroys the line and continues pushing further. And that's where the trades we want. But the main thing is your entry has to be perfect. If you are entering late on these trades, then you are not going to win in this market. Now, just touching base on Ethereum from this current perspective that I see, Look at where Ethereum bounced on support. Remember, I talked about this when the video first started. Ethereum, or in general, sorry, the market will use old resistance as new support, and that's when you know the market is ready to push further. Look at where Solana bounced. Solana bounced at, the resistance was 159.44, 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests. How many tests did we see here, right? Now look at where this candle bounced. It bounced at 159.44. Is this rocket science to be like, why is it pumping? No, right? It's just simple technical analysis. And where would I be looking to exit the trade? Well, simply put, I wouldn't be riding it. Of course, if I was in the original trade, for a 50-cent difference, I'm scalping the 4-hour interval. Best case scenario now for Solana is we end up breaking the wick high at 161.18. We end up squeezing to 161.90. The trade still plays out, but if we can see a massive rally from there, even better, right? And that's pretty much how I think. So look at Bitcoin. We just hit, sorry, I'm having a stroke online. Listen to me. Everybody listen real quick, okay? I want to explain this one more time. What did I say when the stream first started? I said, if we're at all-time high and we're trading the wicks, I don't know, you don't know how to trade that zone without like wicks. But now look, if you took this trade, and I'm unfortunately not, holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's crazy. Oh my God. Holy shit. Hold on. Pause. Everyone pause. Oh, wow. Okay. Backtrack. Holy shit. That's crazy. I said at 113.870, and again, just an educational standpoint, you guys are welcome to watch it back later. I said nobody knows where exactly Bitcoin is going to go. But what we do know is that if, of course, the wick ends up breaking, you want to take that long position. Because, again, you can base it off the previous wick. So, look, now the new wick was at 113.870, right? The video started, and I said, look, if Bitcoin ends up going back into that wick, it's a long position. We don't know at all-time high what's going to happen, but if Bitcoin ends up squeezing, all of those shorts, all of these little guppies right here that ended up shorting are getting absolutely wrecked. And we just did that live. 115.3, 115.4. It is squeezing. Hey, guess what, guys? Ethereum, same sort of situation. 28.67. Hey, guys, guess what? If we go on Doge, 0.19. Hey guys, one more time real quick while we're live on Solana, 162. What do you guys understand what I'm trying to explain here? And this all happened live. All 4 trades went to take profit live, and it's because of the fact that if Bitcoin ends up breaking, all of the altcoins rally with Bitcoin. Does this make sense? The chat is so quiet. Guys, someone talk to me. I know you're all trading right now, but please, like, does this make sense? Am I just talking? I need to focus on this too. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Does that, yeah, that's all. Oh my God. 116.4. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a real This is crazy. Oh my God, what a candle. Okay, so, yeah, that's insane. Oh my God, that is insane. That is crazy to me. Oh my God, look at Solana. Holy shit. That's, okay, anyways, enough of this. All right, listen, guys. I hope that makes sense, okay? I don't even know what to say right now. That's insane. I was literally just talking about this live, and I said, look, Ethereum most likely will go to 28.79, most likely, because, again, if there's going to be a wick, and it literally hit it to the exact penny. Like, that's... Do you understand? Do you understand that? Like, that's crazy to me. Wow. What a squeeze. Oh my God, what a squeeze. And now this is one of those situations where people are like, okay, what do I do? Well, okay, realistically, if it just squeezed $3,000 in one candle, it might be the best idea to not take the trade again, right? So if you missed it, you missed it. And I'm just gonna quickly send the chat and be like, okay, everyone, all TPs hit. across the board. Okay. 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 All right. Okay, I'm probably I don't know, I don't even know what to say, to be honest. There's like so many messages and people asking what to do. Okay, so now just quick education standpoint because before I end it, because I really do have to end it and I have to go figure out what the charts right now for everyone. But does that, like, do you see how the wicks play in terms of altcoins? I'm gonna ignore Bitcoin right now because it's not fair to talk about Bitcoin, but just in terms of altcoins right now, do you see why these levels act as magnets, right? And the reason, this is the exact reason why, is these wicks are there for a reason. They will continue being there to tell you a story. Do not enter shorts if you see multiple wick opportunities at a current level, because you will get wicked out. That is exactly what happened. A lot of traders, a lot of folks started shorting Bitcoin, or sorry, Ethereum, Solana, Doge, and they all just got wicked out on that wick. That was a massive wick opportunity. They all just got wicked at the same time across the board. Everyone got liquidated. Look at Solana printed in 163.4. It broke our, it literally destroyed our take profit, right? And that's what I told you guys. Best case scenario, it's going to end up breaking above the line, right? Worst case scenario, it ends up hitting the line. Doesn't always have to be perfect, but we might get the opportunity for that massive squeeze. And that's literally, while I said that, it just happened within a second. And do you understand why it's very important to not short all-time highs? I don't know how much I have to yell for people to understand. Never, never, never short all-time high. I was the loser that shorted all-time high in the previous 4 years. Right before it broke out, I thought I was him. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be the best trader ever. Watch this. Double top, easy. Yeah, scam. I ended up getting liquidated right before the generational run. And from that experience, I explain it to you guys over and over and tell you from my mistakes why things are the way they are. People are always like, well, how did you see that? How did you see that? It's because I've been staring at these charts for 7 years. I can see patterns, and this was a perfect pattern opportunity where I was like, you know, that doesn't really make sense. And Bitcoin at $116,900, it makes sense because now we are officially gonna see a massive altcoin rally. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethereum with the breakout at 28.90. Oh my god, what a squeeze. 28.94 peak. We're actually seeing this live. This is actually insane. This is gonna be the mega, I think this is the mega squeeze gonna happen within the next few days. This is what I was talking about, the 3,400 straight. I think we're literally gonna see this shit live and see it continue rallying. What a massive squeeze. Oh my god, 2,900 for Ethereum. You're seeing this live. 29.10, holy, 29.14, 29.20. Oh my god, this is insane. Guys, this was live. Holy shit. All right. Okay, stream's done. See ya. Peace out. I gotta go update the charts and figure out what the hell's going on with everyone. I will, yeah. All right, peace out. Peace out. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.